Rhoda by Timothy Kimmel Jr. Chapter 6. What to do. Rhoda's sister, Gratitude, Grat for short, was having her birthday soon, and Rhoda had been stuck on their island for many, many years. She had tried to overcome her dilemma, sneaking off 3 o'clock in the morning. The normal tunnels didn't bother her so much, but the thought of going over the near island bridge through the tunnel system scared her to death, all because of the loud noises of the Mack truck beast when she was much younger. She wanted to make it to her sister's birthday, no matter how hard she tried. She just couldn't seem to overcome her fear. Plus, it would be great to see her friends and her family, spend time with her mom, Squirrel, and her dad, Alf, or Alpha. Alf for short. She decided to ask her grandfather, Raph, what to do. Maybe he would have a solution that she hadn't thought of yet. He was in the meeting deciding the future of the rhododendron race, the town hall, if you will, or the royal court. So she waited, spending time with her grandma, Rat. It had just been Ref's birthday, and for her birthday, she got her some seaweed and a special colored rock, which was just a piece of glass that had been ground down by the waves. It was greenish turquoise. Ref seemed very pleased with it. After the meeting, Rhoda told her husband that Rhoda wanted to see him. So he asked her in a not so formal manner what was wrong. And she explained her problem that she had had ever since she got there, what she knew all about. She needed to find a way to cross the bridge to get back to the Russian Ridge Trail system where her family of the rhododendrons there lived. His son, Alf, or Alpha, her mom, Squirrel, and her sister, Grat, along with all of her other family members and friends. He pondered for quite some time, and finally, he gave his answer, slow and aged with wisdom. There is one way, he said. Before there was a bridge, we came over while we started out here on Near Island and made our way to the Big Island. But we went over there underneath the ocean, underneath the waves. We have a tunnel system. It hasn't been used in a long time, at least not to my knowledge. And it was always caving in, filling with water and mud and debris, often killing some of the settlers who were trying to cross. Settlers and traders looking to sell their wares on other islands. It hasn't been used in a long time, but I do know of one person who might know. His name is Tim. He's the local guide and trader. If anybody can guide you through the old tunnel system, he can. I'll have somebody find him and get a hold of him. He's probably around his family's farm, and ask him. I'm sure he wouldn't mind doing such a favor for such a pretty rhododendron lass like you. And yet, it would always be helpful if you gave him something in return. Maybe some grains you saved up, or a promise of marriage or something. He laughed, letting her know that he was joking, and she breathed a sigh of relief. What could she give him? She had saved up a bunch of popcorn grains, kernels really, that some human had left lying around. She could give him those. They were prized among the rhododendrons for being foreign food, and yet delicious. She thought about it. That might work. She would give him the popcorn and ask him what he wanted in repayment. See if he had any response other than that was enough, or some other suggestion. They spent a few moments together in silence. Well, I sure hope it works, he said. I know, me too, she said. I'm getting tired of sneaking off and trying to cross that bridge. I just can't seem to beat the demon that scared me that day. But I really do miss my family and friends. I know, he said, it's been hard for you. Reft has really enjoyed your company, though, and you've helped her blossom into a beautiful young rhododendron woman. That night at dinner, he talked to her again, telling her that Tim would be around tomorrow and have her stuff packed and ready. Rhododendrons, they didn't really wear clothes, but they did sometimes have little traveling packs that they carried around on them for necessities such as small tools, needles for sewing, and weapons like what was common among rhododendrons was a stick. They fought with a staff. Well, it was more like a stick since they were so small. They used it to beat back the vole invasion, which happened before her time, back before the bridge was built. They had been at peace ever since. They were actively under a sign of peace treaty, but still small skirmishes broke out, especially when they'd sampled the local mead too often, or if they were celebrating a game such as similar to soccer or European football. They didn't really verse each other, but they both played the same game and celebrated around the same time, often getting intoxicated from local fermented fruits such as crab apples and salmon berries that had been set too long. They didn't know what caused it, but they all partook. And some of them became very, very agitated and relatively stupid after eating too many fermented salmon berries. The next day, well, it's not really. Rhododendrons are really nocturnal creatures. She met Tim. He wasn't a lot for words. He said the popcorn would be fine. He was traveling that way anyway and looking for an excuse crossing the mainland. It had been a while since he had traveled underneath the ocean using the old path, but he had been there before and he needed to reevaluate his idea of the right way to traverse it, since it is useful to have that kind of information as a pathfinder. And he could bring some trade goods of his dad's to trade to the Russian Ridge rhododendrons there. Rhododendrons were often named after rats and stuff because humans, when they first see them, they think they're rats. So a lot of them have names like that, like gratitude. They exclaim in horror, "Rat!" And after that, that's what the rhododendron thinks they're called. But sometimes they mishear them. That's why some of them are named like Raft and Rafe or Raff. Or squirrel. Tim wasn't much for words, but Rhoda was nervous, so she kept on blabbering. "So Tim's an unusual name," she said, with a question in her voice. Tim picked up on her question right away. "Oh, that? Yeah, I'm named after a local musician, a human named Tim. My dad really loves his music. He lived on your island for a while, but I heard it through the grapevine that he plans on moving to the Russian Ridge Trail system sometime in the spring or summer. It was almost spring already. Will you miss him? Well, he is my namesake, and I will miss his music, but I can always travel to the Russian Ridge Trail system, and I think you'll like it better there. There's a little bit more freedom." Anyway, he's kind of a magical man for humans. He does all these insane rituals all night. People think he's crazy. Yet he seems alright to me. He must have really impressed my dad to have him name me after him. There was a long silence. "I'm named after our race, obviously," she said. "I know," he said. "Rhoda's a beautiful name. Rhododendron." She liked the way he said her name. All slow and covetous, kind of like a warm blanket. Like he owned it, like it was his. Yet it was her name. "We should be to the entrance to the cave system underneath your island bridge, leading all the way across to the other island. It was built a long time ago and tends to flood, but there hasn't been an accident in a long time." But before they could get to it, they ran into a pack of voles, warrior voles, causing trouble and probably harassing innocent people like vagabonds. "Stay back," Tim said. He pulled out his staff. "What are you going to do with that?" the lead vole said. But before he could say anything else, Tim had hit him square in the jaw. Another blindingly fast blow to his forehead. He quickly moved forward 2 steps and hit the other 2. One with the right, an upper swing of his staff, and the other with the lower left swing. There were only 3 of them. but they had enough already. There was no way they were going to verse this bigger rhododendron opponent. Just then, a fourth crept up behind Rhoda and grabbed her, but she reflexively bit him, and he squealed a high-pitched squeak. Ew. And ran off. His companions had already run off. It looked like they were going in a different direction. She was sure they would meet up somewhere. Well, those wolves are really vicious. Yeah, they're a bunch of softies, but they do like fighting way too much. Alright, well, we should start. They'd come to the tunnel entrance. It was overgrown and looked like it hadn't been used in a long time. There were no fresh footprints of any kind, and erosion had eroded away the entrance, and yet there was lichen growing all around it. Are you sure this is safe? She said. Well, it's as safe as anything, really. I mean, anything could happen, but it's probably okay. I mean, I've been through here before, and there's lots of others that have. There hasn't been an accident in a long time, but the safest way is to cross the Near Island Bridge and the pipes up above us. That's why this is our old tunnel system, before there was the bridge. I know, she said, but I haven't been able to cross since I came here as a little kid, and a monster scared me. What does it sound like? He said. It sounded like and it made a terrible noise when it came toward me. Boom, boom. Oh, that must have been a vehicle. Tim makes those noises all the time. You know that human I'm named after? During his rituals at night, he's always making weird noises like that. If this doesn't work out, maybe he would be able to help you. He can talk to animals. So I'll ask him. Oh, this will probably work, she said, but with a hint of unsettlement. This quiet creeping into her nerves, leaving her feeling hopeless and a little lost. Yeah, well, if there's any sign that the tunnel's going to collapse, or if it already has, we're going to head back immediately, because this isn't worth our lives. That made her feel reassured.